All right, it is time now once again for the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast. My name is Elias Mellis, but you can call me Eli for short. And who is this incredibly amazing lady to my right over here? Who are you?
I am Dawn Ledgerwood, and I'm your girlfriend.
That's right. You are Dawn Ledgerwood?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you are Dawn Ledgerwood, my lovely lady. And, baby, I shortened the world. I didn't emphasize it as much today.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I did that just for you, baby.
Thank you. It gets a little extreme at times, don't you think?
Yes, but to be honest with you, it's also more so about the fact that I've been creating a lot of content on YouTube. I've been doing a lot of live streams lately, sometimes 2-3 times a day. And my voice is a little hoarse, but screw it. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
All right.
The show must go on.
Well, with that being said, welcome back to another episode of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast. This is episode number 44, and today's topic is Dawn redeems herself as a public figure. One more time. Episode number 44 of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast is Dawn redeems herself as a public figure. We're going to be talking about Dawn becoming a public figure out here on YouTube about 3.5 years ago, which is, 6 months after her and I got together. And she's had some public speaking experience in the past, and she's going to share her story, but we're going to give her a chance to also have her say regarding a bunch of things that have been said about her on the internet. We're going to give her a chance. She's going to be cool, calm, and collected, right, babe?
I'm going to do my best.
I'm going to do my best. Okay, well, that wasn't a part of the pregame show, but anyway, I can't tell her how to be or what to say or what to do, but...
Well, I'm sure the 49ers had a different pre-game talk also.
Well, yeah, the day we're recording this is Sunday, January 18th, 2025. It'll be released on Wednesday, January 2025. Did I say 2025? 2026. January 18th, 2026. It'll be released on Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. This is the day after the Niners got their butts kicked by the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, my God. It was horrible.
And it was just one of the worst beatings I've ever seen the Niners take, at least in a while. So, yeah, time to move on from that.
Yeah, football's over. Let's move on to baseball.
Yeah. But anyway, let's start off as always by asking my lady, how's the past week been? I mean, we're going to talk about a bunch of things, not only relating to the past week, but relating to the last, 3.5 to 4 years that you've been with me. And about 3 years ago, you actually started showing your face and using your real name online. 3.5 years ago, 6 months before you started using your name and showing your face online, you were doing anonymous audio only live streams with me. And it's been a heck of an experience. You've also done public speaking in the real world. I know you've shared that story in the past on some other content on YouTube, which is no longer publicly available. So I figured it'd be a great opportunity to, share with our podcast listeners out here, whether they're on YouTube or the audio-only podcast network, who you really are and what's really going on and how you feel about certain things on the internet nowadays, things you've experienced, etc. But before we get to that, how's the past week been for us, babe? I mean, it's been a pretty mellow week for the most part.
I would say pretty mellow. It's actually been very nice. Yeah, slow week. We did get a lot of things done we needed to. Personally, I did a lot of spring cleaning.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, just getting a lot of things put in the right places or discarding things that just we don't need anymore.
Right.
So I've been doing a lot of that, cleaning up the house. So it makes me feel good to do that. And try to take a little bit of the work off of him.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, he still gets overwhelmed when I do too much, but that's Eli.
I just don't want her getting hurt. She's still recovering from her clavicle surgery, and we have an appointment with her clavicle surgery doctor, coming up. I think it's next week.
Yeah.
So
next Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah. So
or Wednesday, I can't remember.
So yeah, we'll look at the schedule, but it's coming up, and I've just been, trying to, help Dawn not re-aggravate it, not re-injure it. You're supposed to take it easy after surgery until, everything heals up properly. So,
well, what's going to happen is they'll do an X-ray just to see how the bones have been growing together.
Right.
And base that on the X-ray that I had the last time, which is 2 months ago.
Right.
And so that will determine how far along I am in the progress of rehabilitation there. Now, I personally feel I'm about 80% healed. I do feel it at the end of the day, a little bit when I've worked a little too hard.
Yeah, you get sore. Everyone gets sore when they've worked hard and used muscles they haven't used in a while, right?
Oh, every person is like that, not just women. Right. But yeah, and then I started to be a little more consistent now with my exercises that the physical therapist is giving me. I'm really working those into my daily just chores for the day, basically. It's you
also have a bone growth stimulator.
Yeah, and I'm now using that twice a day.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so I can get extra, and there's nothing wrong with that. He just told me at least try once a day.
Right.
So that's where I'm at on that. As far as on the GNA side, quiet. Of course, there's always a little drama, but really insignificant drama. The people involved really have nothing to do with me or my life or Eli and his life, and that's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions that you wanted to ask me?
Well, yeah, we're going to get into them, and this is going to be a completely informal, podcast, no script, no nothing. This is just us off the top of our head because we've lived this. And, sometimes it's nice to have a script that keeps you on point, and you can make sure you say everything properly. But other times just going from your heart and soul, there's nothing more genuine than that. And that is why I named my organization the Genuine Networking Association when I founded it in 2011, because that's the type of person I strive to be, as genuine as possible. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes. We all react and overreact at times, and when we don't mean to. We're all emotional beings. Even men are emotional beings too, even though technically we process our emotions, or should be processing our emotions, differently than women. But yeah, I think all I want to say regarding the opener is that, yeah, as far as the GNA goes, the people that we don't have a whole lot of people, and that's going to be changing. It's starting to grow. We're starting to get more and more people participating with us through the YouTube side of things. And that's all good. But the reason why we've struggled to grow is, we've had this one group of people that has been coming at us, and they've been led by one man on YouTube that I've known for over 8 years that's been commercially exploiting me and defaming me for dollars for at least the last 6 years, maybe longer. I've known him for over 8, but he's been massively commercially exploiting me to an audience that he created that only comes around and donates when he's talking about me and using very large portions of my content. This has, I've sued him in a circuit civil case. We're 4 months into that. He filed a motion to dismiss / anti-slap saying I'm trying to silence his freedom of speech, which I'm not. I don't care if he talks about me as long as he doesn't defame me, and as long as he doesn't violate my copyright. He thinks using large portions of every piece of my content is fair use. It's not. Fair use is based on the 4 factors of fair use, and those all get weighed into consideration. And so I've sued him in a circuit civil case, and I'm also going to be suing him in a federal copyright case as soon as I get some registration certificates that I filed with the U.S. Copyright Office. You are required to, register your works with the U.S. Copyright Office before you can file a lawsuit in federal copyright court. And you can't adjudicate copyright in a circuit civil court and a state court. It is done at the federal level, at a federal district court. So I've had all these issues that stem from this one man. I'm not going to get too far into it, but it's just caused myself and my lady Dawn a bunch of issues. To them, it's just they're having fun. Mm-hmm. Like most of the people in that group are having fun, being entertained, while one person is commercially exploiting us and defaming us for dollars to that group. Mm-hmm. And it affects our growth.
Oh, yeah.
It affects our algorithmic reach on YouTube. It affects our reputation from people trusting us to be a part of us. I mean, this guy is a master manipulator, and he's just someone that just once he latches onto someone or something, he just doesn't let go.
Yeah. Shoot, I had something really good to say, and I just...
Now, you're going to say it politely.
Oh, yeah. No. Say what you were saying again. One last time.
About... I talked about a lot. I don't know.
No, just the last, 30 seconds.
Well, about the copyright case coming soon in the federal copyright court. We're in the circuit civil case. And
oh, yeah. So now I know. Okay. What I was going to say with the GNA that I've noticed that has happened in this last week, or I would say in the last 2 weeks, is that they have pulled back on saying stuff about you. And now they've turned all their attention on me and trying to hurt you through hurting me. That's what I feel. They've overplayed all the things that they could say about you.
Right.
So now it's oh, we'll go after his lady then.
Right. And, that's the same trick a lot of people play. When they can't get to you, they get to the person that you care about the most or you're closest to, right? It's how people have always done things. Even
that's mafia gangsta mob style there, though.
I mean that could almost be human nature. It's not a good part about human nature. It's not a good part about human nature, which is what I'm trying to say. But that's how a lot of people are. They're retaliatory. They get jealous, and when you're enforcing your rights on them, like I am on this guy, I'm enforcing my civil rights and my copyrights. Right now, he's upset about that, and now he knows I'm strong enough to the point of where nothing he says or does bothers me. So now him and his group are coming at you because it used to get to you when you first started doing content with me on YouTube about 3.5 years ago, audio only, and before putting out your name. And then 6 months after that, about 3 years ago, you came on video and you've been using your first and last name. And showing yourself on video for the last 3 years. And you're also, dealing with, alcohol and stuff, alcohol abuse and stuff. And you got over that. You got yourself cleaned up. Congratulations. I got to say, I'm going to give you a real round of applause.
Thank you.
Instead of the digital one, because you deserve the real one. And before, I think what was more so happening is, before you got cleaned up and then before your doctors found you the right, let's call it a cocktail of medication.
Yeah, it is.
They were, you've had a psychiatrist, you've had a psychologist all along, and then you got a psychiatrist as well, because a psychiatrist can prescribe you medication for your psychological, let's just say issues is not a good word, but needs, right? And the psychologist gives you the actual mental and and mental therapy, like mind therapy, and keeps you grounded and all that type of stuff, right?
And the great thing about my two doctors there is that they actually communicate with each other. They don't even work in the same medical, like one's in Palo Alto, one's completely independent.
One's independent and one is from your medical
they
foundation.
Still, they both take the time for me to communicate on the progress.
Right.
Or if something comes up that I'm kind of saying to my therapist, she'll start thinking, okay, with the meds, and I'm noticing a shift. So what could be the shift? And so, we, sometimes we figure out it might be the medication or it just might be a situation. So, but I did come to the conclusion my psychiatrist was titrating me down off of some anxiety medicine. And I didn't realize the effect, like when he's saying side effects, and I'm thinking, dry mouth, nausea, vomiting. I wasn't thinking about my mood. I didn't realize that was an anxiety medication.
Yeah.
So then once I found that out, then all the pieces start and fit together.
Right. And now
my reaction, which I know we're on the podcast now, but it was a while back. So if y'all saw it, my reaction on that stream was probably due to my anxiety level and not having enough anxiety medication on board.
Thank you for being honest about that. You're talking about a few weeks ago on YouTube, and that stream is no longer publicly available. And I re-uploaded it to Rumble, but it's private there. It'll never see the light of day again. Not because you said anything wrong. Yes, you did react a little bit, but you didn't say anything wrong because this group of people was trying to spin something that you didn't say, into something that you did say, which is what they're famous for. So me putting that video back to public now, they could say, oh, Eli edited that. There's nothing edited in that stream. And if the defendant in my circuit civil case wants a copy of that, he can go through the proper channels of discovery in the case. And then, then I could get him that once a protective order is in place for him to use it for litigation use only and not as YouTube content for commercial exploitation, right? And taking things out of context. That's what we've been dealing with this group of people. But the bottom line is that you realize that you were probably taking off a medication that's affected you, and now that it is affecting you, we're going to go back. Your psychiatrist told you that. Your psychologist told you that, and she said during your next appointment, your next video appointment with your psychologist to talk with him about that. And then you're going to do that because the next appointment's coming up in a week or two.
Next week.
But the bottom line is... and
I'm not saying this is an excuse at all.
Right. It is what it is.
It is something that I kind of step back and say, why did I act the way that I did? Because I was in a calm, non-reactive mood all before that. I even
talked to you before the show, and you said, "Yeah, I'm going to be calm. We can do it.
I'm fine. I felt good."
And we wouldn't have done the show
if I was already anxious.
Yeah, I've already learned. And Don has hydroxyzine and Zofran, standard anxiety medication.
I found out is not a full anti-anxiety.
Yeah, it's just, it helps, but it doesn't fully, take care of everything. The other one was called Buspirone, I think is the one, right? But then also your nausea medication. So, you always get the hydroxyzine and Zofran before we do a show or before we go on a drive. And you use it as needed, right?
Yeah. As far as the drive, I have to take the Zofran every time. I have always been somebody that gets motion sickness, all the time, except for when I'm driving the car. I can drive it. I feel fine. But even in the front seat, I'll get nauseated at times. I don't know. It's a control issue, I guess.
I don't know. It is what it is. It happens. Everyone is different.
Right? Oh, yeah. Everybody's different.
But here's the thing. The bottom line is, in the past, before the right medications were figured out for your situation, for your mental health. And before you got clean from alcohol abuse, these people were coming at you, and because you did some streams and you would overreact and all that, and I was just trying to get you out there to show you that you can do it. And the thing is, throughout all that time, you still came out. You were still supportive of me.
Absolutely.
And you've always supported me on the vision of the GNA here, and the vision that I have of truly helping people become the best version of themselves that they can be.
Yeah.
So that to me, the biggest thing that's never changed about you is your heart and soul. It's always been in the right place. But these people were exploiting you for content back then, and they were able to get to you. And overreact. We would do some members only live streams, and this same group of people run by the defendant that I'm suing. He would purchase a channel membership under a fake account, also known as a sock account, on YouTube, and rebroadcast our members only paywalled live streams live as they were happening live publicly for free on his channel, taken away from us, right?
Yeah.
And basically coming at you, attacking you. And now he has this girlfriend that he met from YouTube. And I call her the internet girlfriend because I think they've only met maybe once or twice. And nobody knows her name. Nobody's seen what she looks like. They've heard her voice on a few live streams every now and then. But he's very protective of her and doesn't want to put her in the line of fire, yet he's okay with attacking other people's women like mine.
Yeah.
And even if he doesn't mean it, he does it for content, right? I think to a certain extent, I think primarily he does do it for the money. But he also, this guy, in my opinion, has a lot of issues. He's got a lot of issues, in my opinion, that stem back to his childhood, and unresolved issues. If I had to guess, are involving his parents. And I'm not gonna get too far into it. His parents have, his parents.
You know what? Honestly, it doesn't matter. We don't.
They're involved. They're involved in some extracurricular activities. We're not going to get into it. It's been spoken of privately. I think that really has affected him, and I think now, while he creates this content primarily to make money and have a little fun, I think he's actually really projecting his insecurities onto people that he wished he could be like, or maybe he wishes that he could have been a part of a family that's more stable, or something like that, right? Go ahead.
I think that these men out there on YouTube that act this way have been hurt by a woman, possibly their mother, possibly a sister, an aunt, a school teacher, or a current, like somebody that they've been in a relationship with. And they have so much anger towards women that they just want to break them down, like literally break them all the way down to where they don't feel like they exist, back in the day. Yeah,
you're right. But I think it more so has to do with mommy and daddy issues, unresolved issues stemming back to their childhood.
Well, yes. And that's what I'm kind of saying also is a lot of men that act this way, that are aggressive towards women, have been hurt, and more times than other. By their mother. By their mother.
Right.
That's what starts the aggression and that sour taste.
And I really think that this guy that I'm suing, because he's talked about his parents, they have an open relationship. He talked about that, right? And I think that has bothered him because he probably wishes that he had parents that were just with each other and no one else. And
well, like I said, what is going on there is irrelevant to what this podcast is about.
No. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, why is this happening?
Well, okay. So let's talk about me. Okay.
We are going to talk about you, but honestly, hold on. You just pivoted away, and I need to finish saying what I'm saying real quick, or else people are going to think that there was no relevance to me saying that.
Well, I don't believe there was. So go ahead, finish.
All I'm saying is that there were people coming at you back in those days. And a lot of the reason why they came at you is not necessarily because of what they were saying was true. It's because they were projecting their insecurities onto you.
That's not what I was saying at all.
No, I know that's not what you were saying, but I wanted to explain why I used that example with this defendant guy I'm suing regarding the childhood trauma thing. Why did he behave this way towards you, and why does he behave this way towards other people? Go ahead.
Why does he act this way towards me?
No. I was explaining that. You don't have to respond to that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, you were trying to move the show along.
Yeah.
And you were thinking that there was no relevancy for me to discuss that. And I was just trying to share before we move on to what we're going to be talking about is the relevancy is, why did he attack you in that way? Why has he attacked other people in that way? Is it because he really feels that way about you, or is it a self-reflection of himself, right? Is it a projection? It's a projection. So now, with that being, go ahead.
I thought that's exactly what I said.
In different words. Correct.
Yes. So, okay.
You're absolutely right. I'm just saying that the reason why I had to add a little more context is because you were thinking that it was irrelevant to share that. And I was just sharing the relevancy of why I said it. Nothing to do with you. But let's continue. So, was there anything else you wanted to add before?
Well, no. I mean, you want to ask me questions, so go for it.
I can see how it affects you in real time, and it's okay. People are seeing it. I can feel your tension.
I have a horrible feeling that this is going to turn into the Eli show again, and you're not going to let me talk.
Oh, no, you're going to be talking. Absolutely. You're going to be talking for like a long time straight. I was just leading into that. Like, this is like the intro of the show, leading into why we're talking about this.
Carry on.
So now, you had some public speaking experience before you started creating YouTube content with me.
Yes.
And you've shared that story before on YouTube. Those streams are no longer publicly available, and the podcast land has not heard that. But you did a lot for your kids and their schools. You were involved. I think you were the president of the PTA, if I remember.
Yes, I was.
Listen. Give me something. Look at this. Tell me I pay attention to my lady.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because the number one mistake that men make is not paying attention and listening to what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to share with our listeners, babe, please. How was that experience being the president of the PTA? Did that help you become a better public speaker? Did you enjoy the public spotlight?
Yeah.
Did you love, being able to lead that group of people? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, there is a sense of control when you have that position, and you do have to have a little control to make sure everything flows right.
Okay. You're the leader. You're a leader.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a controlling thing, because that comes off different, but you're saying there's a sense of leadership and respect towards you.
Yes.
Which you felt that leadership role and respect within that leadership.
And I felt a flip, because at first, when I was first elected, people, I was new to the school.
You were elected. Hold on. You were elected. There was like a general election for this.
Yeah. They have to nominate.
They vote you in.
They vote you in
within the school.
Yes.
Right.
It's not countywide.
It's not a county. I know. I was trying to make it a big deal because you are a big deal to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So you were elected into the PTA as the president.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And a lot of them had seen like me being very enthusiastic and
outgoing,
wanting to be there, outgoing, friendly, all of that.
You've also been a little flirtatious too, huh?
I flirt with everybody.
I know that's the problem. I'm just kidding.
Most of the times it's with my puppies, though. You know,
and with me.
Oh, yeah, and you. But that's a given, silly.
Oh boy.
But yeah. What was I saying?
You're the PTA president. You were elected, and then you felt.
I felt at first they weren't trusting a lot of my, decisions that I wanted to do, and we had a lot of like talk back and forth, in the meetings. And then when I actually started doing what I was saying I was going to do, then flipping it around, and I accepted volunteers and wanted volunteers. But if I didn't have volunteers, I did all the work myself.
And you showed them who was boss without having to say it. You showed them what you're worth and what you're capable of rather than just having to say it, right?
Thankfully, I had a great vice president. We happened to be pretty good friends back then. Mm-hmm. So it worked very well. Okay. I would say, so Ashley started there.
Your daughter, Ashley.
Yes, in 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Jeremy at kindergarten. So I wasn't the president the first year. It was the 2nd year that Ashley was there is when I became on the board there.
Okay.
And then the whole time Jeremy was in school.
So about 3 years?
Well, let's do some math, Eli.
Oh, your kids. You're talking about, this is high school?
No, this is elementary school.
Oh, elementary school. So you're probably looking at 6 to 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. In the past, I thought you were talking about high school. This was elementary school, grammar school.
Yes.
1st through 8th grade.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So you did it for 6 to 8 years?
Yeah. Yeah. With a lot of help.
That's why you're a hell of a public speaker.
Well, we held the, what do they call those? When everybody comes into like the cafeteria and they're like a teacher is speaking to the whole group. What is that?
The teleprompter?
No, it's come to the auditorium.
The auditorium.
Yes.
Oh, you had the auditorium.
Yes. And we would also be the ones coordinating the shows the kids would put on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we had a little school store that, and we had t-shirts with our logo printed on. It was really cool.
Would you be like the MC? Please welcome to the stage, blah, blah, blah. Did you ever have to do that?
No, it wasn't that.
Did you have the handheld microphones?
No, it wasn't anything like that.
It was just your voice with no mic.
Well, imagine sitting, our living room to the back of the house where we are at, through that room there. Mm-hmm. That's the size of the room. So with that, your voice can carry.
Okay, no problem. It wasn't the biggest auditorium.
No.
How many people could fit in there? About 20, 30?
No, I'm talking about the PTA meetings.
Oh, the PTA meetings.
The auditorium would fit 300 to 400 at a time because we would split them up.
And there you had microphones in there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. I was getting confused. You're talking about the PTA meetings.
Yes.
With like the parents that are involved in the administrative aspects of the PTA.
Yes.
Right. They were a part of the admin.
All the volunteers.
All the volunteers.
Yes.
And then you would arrange any events that were hosted in the auditorium.
Well, what would happen?
Actual microphones like you have there.
I don't care about microphones
I
like
love
you
microphones.
do. Yeah, we would all talk about, all the fundraisers we were going to have to do. And so we would split the kids, K through 3. No.
Oh,
K
it's kindergarten too? It was K through 8.
K through 6.
K through 6, okay.
Yes. I'm sorry you went to private school. You have no idea how public school works.
I went to private school my entire life. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit...
slow.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Kindergarten. So we'd bring kindergarten, through second grade in and do the first assembly. And then we would bring the third, fourth, fifth graders in.
Okay.
I am going to correct myself. We went K through 5 at our
K
grammar,
through 5.
and then our middle was 6, 7, 8.
And then 6 through 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Okay.
Because when I went to grammar school, we went through 6th grade.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, that's how it was. We'd go in there, get the kids all excited for a fundraiser, show them all the prizes. We actually had, this was the coolest thing.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was on America's Got Talent, and he's the guy who won doing the ventriloquism.
Oh, wow.
We got him to come to do an assembly at the school. And so,
was he a local?
California. I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was really cool because all the kids saw him on TV and now, ooh, big superstar, you know?
Right.
So it was a lot of fun.
They were excited.
Oh, yeah. And plus, he's a man up there with dolls, puppets in his hand, you know? So, you know, were things like that we would do. And I did that all while I was in nursing school.
Wow.
Well, sorry. That was all while I was a nurse, not in nursing school.
So you were a registered nurse, an RN, and you were the head of the PTA.
Yes. So I spoke publicly in both places.
So let me ask you right there before we move on. How important did that make you feel as a person to, one, now I understand why being a registered nurse has been tied to your identity along with the PTA gave you a purpose. And nowadays, women having a purpose is as important as a man having a purpose. I'm beginning to realize, and we have to talk about this more. It used to be before when women weren't working, it was more about the man's purpose and the woman, you know, was the homemaker and all that. But now that women are working and equal rights and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
A woman's purpose is tied to her identity, just like a man's purpose is tied to his identity.
And that was a great thing, is because my children and my nursing career were my purpose. I could combine both of them together. Right. And I was living on cloud 9.
How'd that make you? You just answered
cloud
my question.
9.
How was that making you feel? You felt like you were important.
Well, not only that, I felt like I was being a good mom. I was working full time and yet still being 100% involved at school. Mm-hmm. You know? And I think if you asked either one of my kids, they would say that it was very important to them and beneficial to have me that involved.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And it's a good thing to do because you develop a good group of friends that you can trust. So if you're ever in a jam and need a babysitter, you got 6 girlfriends that'll take your kids.
You know, I'll tell you this, like your mom and dad should, as kids, they should be your best friend. Because like I consider my mom like my best friend. I have a lot of love and respect for her. And same with my dad when he was around. God rest his soul. He passed away almost 18 years ago. And but when you're younger and you just want to go and have fun and your parents are trying to teach you discipline and responsibility, unlike some people out there that we're dealing with on YouTube haven't learned even at age 40. You know, when they're trying to teach you responsibility and discipline and you just want to have fun when you're younger, that's when you don't feel like you want to be best friends with your parents. But I think, you know, as you get older, as I got older and into my late 20s and early 30s, I always loved my parents. You know, I always had love for them. Was I unappreciative about a lot of things? Yes. I mean, did I disrespect them at times? Yes. Did I do it intentionally? No. I just wanted to have fun, like we all do.
You still do.
But the thing is, oh, come on. But the thing is, as I got older, I started to just really value my parents even more And now my mom's still around. I have the utmost love and respect for her. She's my best friend, and no one could replace that. Um, you know, I think as kids get older now, they start to realize that, and now it may even take longer for them to realize it because of the millennial generation and the Gen Zers. The environment they grew up in is not necessarily the parents' fault. It's just the environment. The internet was exploding, and everything that's been going on, right? Women being liberated and all that stuff, right? Now, and just, both the mom and dad, the husband and wife are working. So basically what parents would do is give their kids everything, would spoil them just to keep them happy because both mom and dad had to work. They couldn't always be there. Next thing you know, the kids get older and they haven't learned responsibility because of the environment and time that they grew up. And so I think it's going to take longer now for kids that have issues with their parents as they get older to realize how important their parents are, and to basically consider their parents like their best friend. I know you're dealing with something like that. We're not getting into it.
No, I'll just, I'll say that there was a time when I was growing up. My mom was absolutely my best friend.
Right. She still is.
Well, let me just tell you the whole story.
Okay.
So we did everything together. Like, I'm telling you, everything. Shopping, going out, taking care of Ashley, just doing everything.
That's your daughter, her granddaughter.
Yes.
Just for the context
just
of the
for that,
podcast audience,
YouTubers.
right?
Or not the YouTubers. Anyways, so we were always, on a phone or together.
Mm-hmm.
And, my mom, we went through a period when I was in my 30s that I'm not proud of. And I made my mom very angry and she was very hurt. And this went on for 7 years that we didn't talk, but happy birthday, Merry Christmas. That's it. And now she is literally the best thing in my life. Hands down, the best thing. Talking about my mom. She's my best friend. She's literally everything to me.
Yeah, like I said, when your mother and my mother were growing up and got married, it was during a time where women were just starting to become liberated, but they were still homemakers. Your mother was a homemaker. My mother was a homemaker. Yes, they started working down the road. It was a different time and place. Now, you're being raised during women's lib in full force. Then you have a daughter, and I have to say it for the podcast people. Her daughter has a tattoo of Rosie the Riveter that depicts equal rights for women and girl power and the women's movement, right? So you're seeing what's happening here is that there is a shift in the way that that the traditional household has converted to.
Yeah, like you were saying, your mom, my mom, they both didn't work.
They were housewives, homemakers, right?
Yeah, and until we were probably, I was older. I would say it was when my brothers got into middle school.
Okay.
Is when she went back to work. And it was part-time, and she worked night shifts.
Okay.
And so she wasn't gone from us, She was gone maybe 6 hours at night.
But that was later on. When you were younger, she was there.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking like when we were in junior high school, she was doing that.
But at that point, you're old enough to pretty much take care of yourself.
Yeah, but we didn't have to because my dad was there.
Right.
But yeah, what I'm trying to say is she did work, but she didn't take any of her time away from us.
But when you were a baby, until you were like 10 or 12 years old, she wasn't working. She was there every day. So here's the thing. Here's the difference. That didn't happen in your marriage and other people that have been married at the same time, because now in order to be able to afford to live, you need a dual income, especially in a state like California or New York or other states that are expensive.
Unless you marry in.
So what happens? Your kids become latchkey kids, or they're raised by your mother, grandma in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you come around, you give your kids everything because you're trying to show them you love them. To basically keep them happy, because you and your husband had opposite shifts. You had to work. You couldn't always be there. You tried to substitute giving them everything to compensate for that. And then next thing you know, you didn't realize you were spoiling the shit out of your kids and not teaching them responsibility, even though that's what you were trying to do. You didn't realize it. And it's not you. This is happening. This is what's happened to the millennial and the generations afterwards. Now, Gen Z and the Alpha generation. Now we've got the betas that are coming, the beta generation. They're all trying to turn things around. Go ahead.
I had it, and I'm like, keep it, and I lost it, and it was good.
Well, yeah, it'll come back. But what I'm saying is that the way that kids are being raised nowadays are different than traditionally. And that's not the fault of the parents. It's the fault of the system.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That's where I was going to go with. So the difference is when my ex-husband and I got married, we knew we were going to have dual incomes before we even had kids. It's a given. And,
you would need dual income without kids, babe. I mean, it's so expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, you can have a dual income, that at that age, and have it just be two, full-time retail jobs and still be able to afford it. Barely.
Okay.
But still, we didn't want to be barely affording life. So, after my ex-husband got through his training and was certified as being a police officer, that's when I went to school to get my nursing license. And yeah, we both made great choices, worked great jobs. And it worked very well. The thing that I want to say is the worst thing that happened to me and my kids is when he decided to leave. He decided to leave when my daughter was 12 years old, about to turn 13.
That's a critical point.
My son was 9. And I want to say the first thing we did wrong in teaching them not to be responsible is getting a divorce. Right there and then, we taught them that you don't have to take responsibility for your actions. You can get a divorce and run away.
Do you mind if I jump in? I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. I'm going to tell you why. You can't stay with someone that doesn't make you happy just for the kids, and a lot of people do that. And I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there is a way. Your kids are going to be affected by that. All kids are going to be affected by that. The only thing you can do in that situation, in my opinion, is talk to your kids and let them know that mommy and daddy are separating. That doesn't mean we don't love you. And go ahead.
Personally, since I've been through this, I believe if it wasn't going to work out, we should have ended it a lot earlier when the kids were little. Then the kids wouldn't have had a sense of a whole family for so long. They would have already been getting used to, mom's here, dad's there.
Right.
And that's just how I personally feel it would be easier on the kids. So when the separation happened, it shook me like to the core. And I didn't know what the heck I was going to do. I had a job, but we were on dual incomes. Now that's going away. How am I going to afford everything that we've already gotten ourselves into?
Right.
It's like I went from $5,000 a month of a mortgage to paying $3,500 a month for rent. So that's already compensating it like more.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
And then I have my gas, water, all that, car insurance, phone, food.
Yeah. And I appreciate you getting into all that, and that's all good. But what I wanted to more so get into is you redeeming yourself as a public figure, because what you've accomplished becoming a nurse, I'm sure that sometimes you had to do presentations at your college and you learned how to do that. You, over the 6 to 8 year period of however long it was when you were the president of the PTA at your kids' grammar school, I'm sure you had to do some auditorium presentations. You had to use the microphone. They had a real mic like the SM58 you have right there, handheld, and you walk around with it, right? And you own the room, right?
Yes.
Right. So that experience there. Let's talk about when you were running the PTA and you're on the stage and you have the mic and everyone is watching you and they're listening to what you're saying. How did that make you feel? And what did you learn from that experience?
Well,
into the mic, babe. Sorry.
I wouldn't say it made me feel like a certain way as much as it just felt like a group of belonging, feeling like I belong with some, some organization or whatever, that they really value what I have to say and what I bring to it. And that's the feeling I really had. I was honored and humbled that they would choose me, And so I learned a lot about speaking the right way.
Did you, at first, were you nervous when you first got on the stage and you just forced yourself to get up there? And that's how it happened with me and everyone else, that starts to do public speaking initially. I've been doing public speaking over 25 years, probably closer to 30. But yeah, there are a lot of nerves, and then you feel like you need a script, and you get those jitters the night before, and then after a while you get so used to it, like you can't shut your mouth. That's my problem.
It's like
my problem is I can't stop talking. I love the mic. Go ahead.
That's quite obvious.
It is. I love the microphone.
Because I'm supposed to be talking more.
I know, but I was just trying to make a point, but go ahead. So you're
what I'm saying is, when I was young and in school and stuff, not college, I'd be nervous. Like every kid is nervous, about something like that.
Yeah.
I get butterflies and, buggy eyes, like,
yeah.
But that prepped me for the future with junior high and all of the presentations you do there. That helped me to be a part of the dance club in high school, where we did performances, and all of that gave me confidence to be on a stage in front of people. And so all of these things have brought me to a level where I do feel, let's see how to say this, I do feel that I can be a good person for people to listen to engage with. I've gone through a lot in my life, and I've made mistakes here on YouTube. Now I'm going to start with, y'all know I've had a drinking problem. Okay? Let's just end that. It's done. Okay?
Well, the people on YouTube know. The podcast land doesn't know, but I know you're basically coming back here, redeeming yourself as a public figure, partially for the YouTube audience, but mainly for yourself.
Well, yeah.
Right.
I did not go back and watch any of the streams that we did while I was in that drunken, depressed state. I said a lot of things. Yes, some of them were very true. And
they
I
were
denied
also
them.
very mean too.
what was said back to me was mean.
Oh, no, what was said back to you was mean, and then so you basically fought that off with mean stuff as a defense mechanism.
As a defense. No,
Okay.
It never happened. You don't know what you're talking about. Show receipts. Well, for so long, they've been talking about certain situations, but they wouldn't show receipt until last week. And I said, okay, I respect that. You called our bluff. I'm sorry I did not remember.
Yeah, same here.
If I had remembered, I would come clean with it.
What's the big deal? Hold on a second. What's the big deal? Because, they were saying that, oh, you've been with an African-American man. It's not a big deal. People are people. But these people have no content. And
I don't discriminate on ethnicity. I discriminate on stupidity. Really, well, that's where it comes,
And you know what you were saying, which was funny during that stream. You were saying, "Oh my God, that's the biggest I've ever seen," and they keep focusing on that. I think that was a members only stream.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is.
But the thing is that yes, it was one of the biggest things I'd ever seen. But that one did not go inside me. That one I was scared of.
You didn't have to say that. Oh my God. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. It's all good. It's real time.
It's real time. And if they want to, I'm being raw and real. And you know what, ladies? Because a lot of you are doing this, I just personally want to say what's wrong with you. We had a big movement, Rosie the Riveter. We had all this girl power, right? We are supposed to be coming together as women and standing up strong and defending other women. And when you act this way and you put another woman down, and I'm not saying anybody's names. You guys know who you are. YouTube knows who you are. I don't know about the podcast people. But without saying any names, being a quote unquote bitch to another girl is the lowest you can possibly go at this time in this world. Because we were nasty before. But when we're trying to be all kumbaya and you're still nasty, good luck to you.
Right. Here's the thing. Nothing wrong with what you said. I'm not offended by it. It was back in your past, and you're kind of funny. You like to just kind of say things.
Well, and that's another thing, I'll clarify. Eli gets really stupid when I talk about my past, and he says this ridiculous thing to a 50-year-old woman. I just want to imagine you being a little flower, an innocent flower. Bitch, ain't nothing innocent about this.
Okay, I mean, okay.
I was calling you a bitch, you know that.
Well, that's okay. You said it in a joking manner. It's
all
good. Listen. Number one, I'm more so beginning to believe the boost your own thing. I think that's something.
Yeah, let's go back to medication. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm laughing.
Here's the thing. This is why I think from this one group we're getting a lot of scrutiny. I don't think we would get the same amount of scrutiny from most other groups. Maybe some other groups we might. But the thing is, I think that every man, to a certain extent, wants to be represented by his woman as an innocent flower. And hold on, I'm not saying that's how most women are nowadays. Most women are like you, right?
Well, I have 2 kids, so can't be that innocent.
No. I understand that. It's not about what you've done. It's about how you say things nowadays, unfiltered in that way, right? And that's just who you are. And I think that's where the scrutiny comes into place. And I'm going to come out publicly here and say this to anyone, including that group that's been coming at us for years on YouTube and anyone else in podcast land, that it doesn't bother me. Yes. Do I sometimes go, oh, I really wish my woman didn't say that? That doesn't mean I love her any less. Doesn't mean I trust her any less. Doesn't mean anything bad. It's just that I'm already dealing with enough BS on the internet already. The last thing I need is more BS to deal with from the same people or even new people when I'm just trying to put out other fires, right? So again, there's no shame.
No.
No, listen. Dawn and I have no shame, right? If she wants to come out here and say, you know, hey, my experience with an African American man when I was younger was this and that, and you know, he was a large person, but you know, he was large, but it still didn't work. I mean, listen,
And you know what? Honestly,
you don't have to. Please don't get into graphic detail because we got to make sure we say it clean on here too. But
never mind.
What were you going to say?
I was actually just going to say he was a gentleman.
Oh yeah. No, that's good. No,
he was a gentleman. He, you know, he made sure I remained safe. And
no.
Yeah, we started to make out. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, I don't think so. And he's like, okay, let's just rest and I'll bring you back to your car.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. That's
But going back to delicate flower, I think it's ridiculous because, you know, I mean, reality. I'm 50 years old. I am not the Virgin Mary. I have 2 children. Now, before I married Dave, I just had one prior boyfriend that I had been with. That was a boyfriend, you know? And so, unless you want to count the little tiny, you know, 2 or 3 month high school things.
Yeah, but I mean, you're experiencing the same things
that everybody does.
Listen, everyone has their stories.
Yeah.
And even the people that are coming at you on YouTube or have come at you, they have their stories, and I'm sure their stories are.
Well, I'm just curious because there is
much weirder than yours.
There is a certain person out there in that group that I know that they've gone through at least 5 people in that time, all online, no in person.
Yeah.
But you want to call me a slut?
Did you really have to say that?
Why don't you scrub it back then?
Because I'm not going to.
I'm saying the words that they are saying about me.
I understand that.
And so my point is, what is the difference if I've been with 5 men in the whole 50 years versus the 5 you've been with in the last 3 years that I've known?
I understand.
That's just my point.
I totally.
You could slut shame either one of us. It's going to just cancel each other out.
I understand that. I don't care about what you say. We're on YouTube. We're on monetized channels. We got to be a little more careful with what we say. I don't think that's going to affect us. What I'm saying is that take that into consideration in the future. I get you're using it in the right context, and that should be fine. I'm just, you know, I think we can also make the same point in other ways, right?
Well, that goes with anybody. I think the big thing goes back to, you know, older times when, you know, it didn't matter how many women a man slept with. They were getting high fives, notches in their, you know, bedpost, all that. Mm-hmm. But if a woman slept with multiple men, oh, well, then she is you know, shamed, and she's called many other names. Where is the equality in that? Because right now, we live in an equal world, people. You know, it's what I like nowadays is it's showing television, movies, people are showing how sexual women are and how much we do love it.
No, I know.
You know?
I know. The world has changed. It has totally changed.
Biggest thing though, ladies, we got to stick together.
Absolutely. We're at 1 hour and 4 minutes.
I'm going to go pee.
Do you need to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because we've only got take no more than 5 minutes because we've we're only going to have 20 minutes left when we get back. So Don's going to step away and take a little break to use the restroom. And while she's gone, I'm going to remind each and every one of you that are listening to the audio-only podcast. We are on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, my lady's favorite, iHeartRadio. We're also on Amazon's Audible. We're also on YouTube's Music, and we're also on many other not as popular or not as well-known audio-only podcast networks. If you're listening to us on the audio-only network and you would like to view the video version of this same exact podcast, which is the same thing, which is video. We actually rip the audio from the video and upload it to the podcast hosting site we use. Go below the description about halfway down. You'll see the YouTube video link there. Click that link. When you click that link, the video will start playing, and it'll also redirect you to our main channel that hosts the video version of our podcast, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. GNA stands for Genuine Networking Association. Please subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications so you don't miss anything. Then, within that description section of that video, go a couple lines down. You'll see the link to our secondary live streaming channel called GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, where I go live very frequently there, sometimes multiple times a day, sometimes once a day. Typically, there's at least one stream a day, if not every other day. That's where we're most active. It's typically me usually. At times, Don will join me live when I do Walking with Purpose streams on mobile. Sometimes we'll do Driving with Purpose streams. Sometimes we'll do On the Couch with Don and Eli. Sometimes we'll do a live stream here in the studio together, or it'll just be me. A lot of what I've been doing on that channel lately is correcting the record regarding the guy that I'm suing in the circuit civil case. And I'll tell you, it's an interesting story because people are learning a lot about how to handle copyright and speech issues and defamation on YouTube. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you subscribe to both those channels, GNA, Genuine Personal Development, and GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. You can actually key those right into the YouTube search bar as well, if you don't go directly to the links the way that I mentioned to you folks. So, yeah, Dawn should be heading back in any minute now. Dawn is heading back into the studio, and she's realizing that, that Boosterone makes a big difference. You're not mad. You're okay.
I'm not mad. I'm just,
Hold on. Let me. Are you ready to go back on camera?
Hold on.
Just a second here. Do.
Jesus.
Would you like me to get that for you?
Yes. It's being impossible.
No. There you go. All right.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay. Are you ready to go back on camera?
Yeah. Why not?
All right. Now the big dog is barking at the little dog or growling at him. Anyway, so go ahead. What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Oh, you forgot.
No, I mean, you decided to take a break, so.
Okay.
Do you have another question?
Oh, yeah, yes. There's a few more things to go over. So when you were on the stage as the PTA director, you felt like you were empowered to do good.
Yes.
Okay. So now let's shift from that, because is it safe to say you learned your public speaking skills mainly from that experience? That
is where it started. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, goes back to grammar school, but the more intense, it was.
The real world makes a big difference
yeah.
when you're doing public speaking. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just to clarify that.
Yeah. So you started doing public speaking at the PTA. You've had some other experiences now. How do you think that experience came into play when you first started doing YouTube content with me about 3.5 years ago. This was 6 months after we started dating. You were doing audio only live streams. I would bring you on audio only through the StreamYard, and I would be on video. We didn't put out your name or anything. When especially the first 2 videos you did were about 3.5 hours. They were 3.5 hours each, and I believe that you were at your place before you moved here with me, and yeah, it was a total of 7 hours, and you got to share your incredible story. How did it feel? Sharing that. Did you feel like a relief? What did you feel?
Going into it, I wasn't as nervous as most people would think somebody would be. I blame that on the alcohol. Not an excuse.
Do you blame a lot on the alcohol?
There's a lot of things that have gone wrong in my life because of alcohol.
Yeah. Okay.
Not all of my mistakes are alcohol, related.
But a lot of them
yes.
they involve alcohol that would affect anyone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm out there, guys. I'm owning it. So if you keep wanting to say, oh, Dawn the drunk, okay, I have a disease.
That's actually defamatory because they could say former drunk if they want, right? They're not saying former. They're just calling you a drunk, which means
sloppy drunk.
Right. So, I mean, she's clean. She doesn't drink anymore, and she's
come do a test.
Come along, and you don't have to go that far.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Right. But going back to that story, that very first show that we did,
mm-hmm.
It was audio only. On your end, your name wasn't out there, and they couldn't see you, right? Was that liberating to you? Did you feel like someone wanted to hear your story and that you felt important? Like, how did you feel during that?
Yeah, I did. And the fact that my face wasn't up there it made it easier for me to just.
Your face, no face, no name. So there was no repercussion.
No judgment.
Point. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But these people were trying to find out who you are, which was hilarious because we put you out there. We were going to put you out there anyway, but it felt liberating is what you're saying. Yeah,
because I know I'm not the only person who's made mistakes, or even there's other people out there that maybe have made the same mistakes that I have. So if I can just speak and make somebody feel better that day, great.
Okay.
I mean, I don't need them to say, oh, you made me feel great. Here's $20. I mean, if that happened every day, I'd be a millionaire because I go out and I smile. I compliment. I make sure people know that they exist. They're not just shadows walking around me,
Right. So it was liberating. Now let's fast forward from the several streams that you and I did together where I'd come on video as always and you were only audio only without your name or, showing your face or video or anything. About 6 months after that, we had your public debut with your full name and showing your face. Going from being an anonymous voice to being a voice with a name and an image. What was the difference? How were you feeling at that point when you made your public, full-blown debut as a public figure on YouTube?
Well, considering I had already gone through scrutiny from everything from my family to my friends and all of that stuff, now to come out here and almost have a fresh slate of people to tell my side of my story. And then I quickly realized that people actually feed off of those people. And they don't care. They don't care about anybody's feelings, anything.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, I was living in a bubble. I had no idea people were like that out there. I thought it was all scripted in movies and shows.
And I had no idea that people, were doing not only what they did when they saw who you really are, but they were doing that to me many years before that. I didn't realize that a lot of people will commercially exploit someone, will just pick a target and make them the product of their content. And, especially if they build an audience around one person's name and likeness like they've done with me. Mm-hmm. Right now, you're the girlfriend coming in. You're attached to me. Anything attached to me is something they can spin to that same audience with new content. You were just new content.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I respect.
I'm a new shiny.
That's not what you are to me.
Yeah, I was the new shiny toy to play with.
You were just new content for them because you're connected to me. Just like Tia, Sandra, anyone else that connects to me, GLM, ODN, all these other people we know on YouTube, right? These other YouTube usernames. They don't use their real name out there. That's their choice. Even though I know all their real names, I'm not going to put them out there. But the bottom line is that yeah, you were just new content for them. You were just something that they can continue spinning the narrative of me in a negative way, with new content, right? And the things that you were going through, they would highlight those, and then they were able to paint us in a way that wasn't who we really are or have ever been, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I had known what would have come about, absolutely would not have ever been a part of it. I would support on the sidelines, mm-hmm. but I would not have put myself out there like that. But I didn't realize that people are so evil, malicious, vile. They want to do anything, bottom line, just to make people feel bad. Even if they don't make any money doing it, they feel good at the end of the day just because they made you feel bad. Mm-hmm. Well, honey, nobody's making me feel bad anymore. If I'm going to feel bad, it's because, my show is going to be a repeat this week.
Oh, wow.
It's like, I'll be sad because I don't get to watch Boston Blue this week. I have to wait till next week.
Yeah.
But, it's like, yeah, there are more important things for me to be sad about. I'm sad I don't get to see my mom as often as I would love to. I don't get to see my best friends as often as I would love to. These are all things that can make me sad. But if you look at it, all those people actually mean something to me.
Right.
And y'all don't mean nothing to me.
Okay.
With the exception of Tia and Sandra, GLM and ODN. I love you.
Yeah. So basically, when you made your video debut with your full name and all that changed everything.
Absolutely.
And then everyone started coming at you, and everyone, and we had some streams where you walked out and, you didn't want to do it. And there were many reasons why that happened. Mm-hmm. One, a lot of it was the alcohol. And you've been dealing with a lot of family issues that have since then been resolved.
Yeah, that was also another thing. Is I was in the middle. I felt like I was in the middle of my family and you, and they were angry with what you were saying. I don't even know if they listened to mine. I really don't know.
Yeah, but like I've been saying lately, on some of our YouTube content and even probably some of the podcasts, I think even your mom realizes why I reacted the way I did back then. I'm not saying that she's saying I was right, but I think your mother realizes I was just trying to protect you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the respect now comes from your mom, and her and I are getting along. We're all good. she had to see, was I going to stick around? Was it going to be consistent? And then when you got yourself clean, at that point, that probably blew her mind away. Between the both of us, you did the work, but I didn't run away throughout all of that.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think my mom didn't think I'd stay sober because I was forced into it by my seizures that I detoxed after that being in the hospital. She kind of thought, well, that's might not be.
That's your opinion.
Yes.
And no doctor has ever said that.
My mother.
I know that. No, I'm talking about you being forced into
let's say God
forced into getting clean and sober because of your seizures. I don't think.
Let's say God forced me to wake up that day.
Well, you having 3 cluster seizures was a sign saying that, hey, if you don't do something, if you don't do something quick, it could be the last call, literally. Right.
And don't you think that would come from God?
Yes, and you took it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You did. Now, you tried to fight it a little bit, but not as much. Not as much.
I fought it when I was detoxing.
You were at the hospital, and thank God it's right down the street here. God, we're so lucky. Literally, it's like a quarter mile. Because I was driving back and forth. Obviously, there's no bed for me to sleep there, and I don't think I can even be there past certain hours anyway. But the bottom line is that you were there for 2 weeks, and yeah, they were observing you. The best place you can go through alcohol withdrawal
is in a hospital.
Is in a hospital. Better than an alcohol recovery center, right?
Yeah.
Better than a, what do you call it? A rehab center, right?
Yeah, they all have doctors and nurses that are there, but
nothing's better than a full-blown hospital. You cannot get any better than a full-blown and Sequoia Hospital here is one of the best hospitals on the planet. We have Stanford Hospital, maybe 10, 15 minutes north of us in Palo Alto here in the San Francisco Bay Area. We're in Redwood City, California. I was like, when you were in there and they kept you in there, they admitted you in there, and then you were going through detox there, I was like, amen. And then I brought you your tablet and got all the apps on there, and you had all the streaming and everything. I always make it convenient for you, right? And
I think I had all the streamings. You just had to make them with the account and password, put the password in.
Well, then I got you enough, power cord so you can stay plugged in so it wouldn't die. Because you like running it all night while you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get the streaming on the hospital TV. You get cable or satellite, whatever they have.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but the bottom line is that you came on the camera, and we're going to start wrapping this up in about 5 minutes. You came on the camera, and that changed everything. To make a long story short, these people on YouTube were coming at you for a while, and we had some interesting, let's just call them interesting moments on the camera, but we're not ashamed of that. That was then, and this is now. Let's get to the now during the last 5 minutes here. From that point, then you got yourself clean to now.
Yes.
Where do you feel now, besides the boost brone, which we're getting you back on the boost brone? We're going to talk to your psychologist, and I'm sure he'll put you back on it. But now, regarding you redeeming yourself as a public figure, because you redeeming yourself as a public figure. First of all, you're a public figure.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that was kind of rhetorical. That was just a funny question, but you're a public figure. At this point right now, you being the public figure on YouTube, what does that mean to you? Are you over all this past, and are you ready to move forward? And, what do you foresee in the near future regarding yourself as a public figure? You've got about 5 minutes left.
Okay, yeah. Well, a lot of it rides on what's going to happen in the upcoming case and how I'm going to feel and what I'm going to do after then. As for right now, I'm cool, calm, and collected about everything going on with the GNA. It's just like we said, it's been pretty chill. I mean, that's, people have gone down under, but whatevs. But yeah, no, I think I've learned what I can say and what I can't say. And I'm not talking about cussing. And I don't think that this show has been very reactive for me. I think I just let Eli know that I wanted to speak more. I had more to say. And yeah, of course I was a little frustrated with that. There's no problems though. But I just want to finally say, I didn't realize how I looked when I was on camera. I didn't know how I sounded. And I can see where you guys were going with what you were saying. But now that that's changed and I've shown you the progression, could you just throw me a bone? And leave me alone? Leave me alone now.
Here's the thing. It's not that they don't respect or believe that you've changed your life. It doesn't work for their content model to paint either one of us in a positive way.
I know.
Here's the thing.
All I'm saying is that just keep my name out of your mouth. You don't have to, if you have something to say about something that I did right then and there. Don't talk about yours.
When you try to tell these types of people, keep my name out of your mouth, they're going to want to talk about it more.
Oh, then they're going to be loud with my name.
And it's because they're going to say it's freedom of speech. I can say what, and it's true, but you're just coming out and saying it.
I'm saying it like I'm on the street.
In a rhetorical way, you're coming out and saying it, basically saying, look, unless you want to get back what you put out, then keep my name out of your mouth.
Yeah.
If you don't keep my name out of your mouth, then I'm going to give you back what you give me.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
Or I'll give it back to you better.
That's not the thing. I simply want just silence. We all want to pick and, nitpick about each other and different things. Mm-hmm. Oh, she's fat, or oh, she's too skinny. Oh, she's ugly, or her hair sucks. Oh, so why, ladies? Why? Stand up in that mirror and say we are strong, beautiful, badass bitches. Nobody can break us down. And that's it.
All right. That was a very interesting on-the-fly show. No script, no nothing.
We never are scripted.
And unedited. This is completely unedited.
No, you'll hear it's unedited because you'll hear that he didn't take anything out.
Well, I mean, there are parts in there I could take out. I'm not going to take them out. Then everyone will know which parts those are. But anyway, yeah, I'm proud of you, babe. I just want to wrap up with my final thoughts. I'm very proud of you. You have come a long way. You're a phenomenal public speaker because you're raw and real. You're a lot like me. And let me tell you, I used to be worse than you. The way you're coming out, I used to be 10 times worse. I used to get really triggered. I'd go live in the middle of the night and get triggered at these people. And I've learned to tone myself down, and I've learned there's a better way to handle it. And the best way to handle it, like you said, is the court case. You're saying that a lot of this is writing on the court case. I mean, to be honest, she's right. If we lose, this circuit civil case, and if we lose a copyright case, that guy's just never going to stop. He's going to feel more entitled, and it's going to blow up his ego even more. I do not think that's going to happen. But regardless, mad respect to you.
Thank you.
There are lots of people, including people within that one group on YouTube that's been coming at us, right? Including you, right? there are a lot of people that have gone through or are currently going through what you went through with alcohol. There are just a lot of people in general going through what you went through that may never have the opportunity to turn it around before it's too late.
And trust me, you're not seeing it yourself. Wait until you see yourself on a stream. You're not going to see how sick you look.
Right. Couldn't have said it better myself. With that being said, baby, it is time to start wrapping things up. All right. You've been listening to the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast, and this has been episode number 44, and it was titled Dawn Redeems Herself as a Public Figure. Again, episode number 44 of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast was about Dawn redeems herself as a public figure. Now, before we go, as always, let's remind you once again, if you're listening to us audio only on the audio only podcast network, such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and your very favorite, baby,
iHeartRadio.
Again,
iHeartRadio.
And
one more time, iHeartRadio.
She already knew it. This woman takes the words out of my mouth because she knows when I've said something in the past, I'm going to say it again. Good for you.
I pay attention, baby.
iHeartRadio, yes, you do. Yes, you pay attention. We pay attention to each other. iHeartRadio, we're also on Amazon's Audible, and we're also on YouTube's Music, and also many of the other podcast networks that are not as well known. If you're listening to us audio only, please go below the description. About halfway down, you'll see the link to the YouTube video version. That'll take you back to our main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. When you go there, please subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications so you don't miss anything. Then go below that description section of that video, about a couple lines down. You'll see the link to our live streaming channel, GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. Click the link, go over there, subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications so that way you won't miss anything. And we go live there very often. So if you want to keep in touch with us, that's what you need to do. With that being said, babe, it is time to go. With that being said, have a good one. Take care. And as always, baby, be good to each other.